Hey, Justin. Just take us through. I mean, what just since your injury, just that time has been like.
That time has been, I'd say, definitely been challenging. It's been more mental than physical because you literally don't know, what to expect. So when everything went down, I'm just grateful for the coaching staff and the training staff, especially for catching it early, and honestly making doing the right things to, catch it early and then get me with the right people to make sure that I was as healthy as I am today. Going down that Tuesday of that Arkansas's week after that Vandy game, I felt like I was coming off some of my best football, and the fact that something that was out of my hands happened, but by grace of God and then by the great people of this university getting me in touch with the right people has made it tremendously easy for the comeback, and I'm feeling better now than I did before.
Charlie.
Yeah, just how did it feel? How excited were you to get back on the field?
So it's been a lot of checkpoints that I had to clear to get to a point that I am today. So every little checkpoint that I cleared, it was like a little personal milestone, and the way I was feeling was also matching up with what the doctor was saying as far as like the tests and all that. So I was just extremely excited that it wasn't like just one-sided as far as like I'm feeling good, but the test and the results not saying the same. So I'm just glad that everything, mirrored with the way I was feeling.
We'll stay over here with Mike, and then we'll go to Steve.
Just how much doubt did you have in your mind about being able to come back? Did you get feedback that there might have been a risk? Did you have to go through a decision-making process at all with that?
I didn't have no doubt because I knew what was meant for me was meant for me, and everything's going to work out the way God planned it. So honestly, of course you have a little self-doubt, but I knew that everything was going to work out because the way I was feeling and the way the feedback from the doctor and how happy and how proud he was as far as like the recovery aspect of where I was at every checkpoint that we had, I knew that everything was working out to where that self-doubt was clearing up. The only thing that I knew was once I got cleared, the mental aspect of getting hit and, hitting people and knowing how, mentally how that affect me. But after that, I was straight. I was happy that day that I got cleared. I was able to talk with Jeff and my coaches about wanting to go out and practice that day, and I was extremely happy that they allowed me to do that because I told them that I wanted to get that mental aspect as far as like just going out there and playing full speed and hitting people and getting hit. And I was just happy that I cleared that because I felt like that was the biggest thing coming back from any injury is the mental aspect.
Steven and then Austin.
Justin, as a veteran player, what's been probably the biggest piece of advice you've given a lot of the younger defensive linemen on the expectation being at Alabama?
I would say that looking at the guys who came before us and then looking at my situation as, one day you coming off a game and, you expect to come to practice and something happens. You never know what's going to happen. And every play, every practice, every time we work out, you should be grateful for that because you never know when that opportunity is going to be seized. So I just taking every day as a day of getting better, whether it be in the weight room, on the field, or in meeting room, watching film or learning new stuff. So just taking advantage of the day that's given, because honestly, I would never thought that would happen to me back in September, but it is what it is, and it's about, making the days count.
Austin.
Justin, good to hear you're doing better. Tyler came in here and was kind of talking about he felt like he was ready to see you in the defensive line ball out this year. What do you think the expectations are for that unit this year?
I feel like the expectations for the unit is we the heartbeat of the defense. Anything, offense or defense is starting in the trenches. The identity of the team is built in the trenches, so the way we play is going to be a play of the defense. So it starts with us up front, and we know that challenge is in front of us, but, during this time, during, the off-season program and spring, we've been, preparing ourselves and getting better each day and, taking control of what we control and knowing that it starts with us.
Tony?
I know it doesn't really matter for you, but I asked Tyler this question, so I figure I'll ask you. After going against the same competition for a month, would you have, at one point in your career, wanted to play a spring game against a different opponent? Is that something that would have interested you?
See, honestly, that's not something that's above my pay grade, and as far as making that decision. But honestly, it's good going against the competition that we're going against, because I know that the guys that's across that line is one to show why they, the best, and one to, get better in this competition that, the reason why people come to Bama is to play against the guys that you play every day in practice, because sometimes they may be better than the guys you play on Saturday. So you get that competition level and you get better in that aspect. So that's not my decision. If that's something that happens,
You're good.
then that happens,
James, I'm just setting up the next question.
I
In my
know.
brain, I'm slow.
What have you seen out of Jahmil Burroughs so far this spring?
You said Jahmil Burroughs? Well, I've been seeing a lot out of every single one. Every single person, especially new guys coming in, how mature they were and wanting to get better, trying to learn the system and learn how things are done. I feel like everyone in that room has gotten better since we started day one of spring ball, and especially since the day one of the fourth quarter program, pushing themselves past their mental capabilities. That's really what this program is built on. That's the reason why you see us always put up the 4 fingers when fourth quarter come, because we can push past capabilities of the normal person. And I feel like each and every one in that D-line room has gotten better. Even though every day is a day of its own, and you may get yelled at, you may get mad because a rep wasn't the way you wanted it to be. But if you just look back and you see the growth, every single one in that room has gotten better.
3 more. We'll start with Nick right here.
You mentioned kind of appreciating every day you're going to have since you've come back from your injury. Is there anything you found yourself kind of enjoying more now that, you had an existence where it kind of was taken away from you for a bit?
I would say that during this time, especially when I was getting back, connecting with a strength conditioning coach and Coach UJ, who was on staff. At first, I was only cleared to be able to do like bands and stuff like that. So, of course, I was away from the team. I wasn't able to practice. So, him, that one-on-one work, I felt like, the part of the reason why I am at this point in stage and why I feel so healthy and I feel so strong as I am now is because of him. Because, even though it was only a limited, amount of things I was able to do, he worked me. I was in there sweating. I was, but the fact that, he introduced me to some different stuff that I still incorporate, still do core body work, which doesn't take, weights and stuff like that, but building on my core and, trying to stay healthy and try to be as strong all around as I can be.
Nick and then Charlie.
Yeah, what was the best advice you got during the recovery process? It could be words of wisdom or just encouragement, and also who gave that to you?
I would say the best words of advice was the day that I found out from Jeff Allen that it's season ending, it's not career ending. The worst thing that can happen is you get in your own head and you have the thinking that, well, if this is it for me. But I knew I stayed behind the words that he told me that, okay, my season may be over, but my career is not over. So every day I woke up and I knew that. So it was tough days and stuff like that, but I knew that, me being able to play a game of football is not going to be taken from me forever. Just this small setback. But I knew that, every time that I worked and every time that, it was time to do something, I knew that I was going to come back because it wasn't career ending. It was just season.
Finish up with Charlie.
DJ Dale said that you would, when you were on the sideline or after games, would go to him and Byron and point out some things that you saw to give them some pointers. Just maybe what did you learn from that different vantage point that you maybe weren't able to gain before?
I would say I learned to look at things from a different perspective because, you're so used to being out there on the field and you can only see from that vantage point, but, now you can see it as if you was watching it from film, sitting back watching film because you can see it from the sideline view and watching it from TV. And we all brothers, that's if something that they don't see, that I can see, that's for me to help them, and the fact that they was responsive, they was responsive enough to, ask and, want to know what's going on that they don't see. And, that's the only thing that I felt like I could do to help was to have my words and, what my eyes could, could do to help them in that situation.
All right. Thanks, Justin.